Casey Waffle?
Yo.
Hi, I'm Uko.
Uko is like the most awkward person in the universe.
That's my thing.
Uko, are you sure you're Uko? Because you didn't sound very convincing.
Yeah, he's Uko's like non-union Russian equivalent.
I'm a very good talk show.
Oh,
And tonight we are also being joined by Gorefists and Azriel, who are two of our mods that are here almost every week and decided they wanted to chime in. I think Skadoosh was going to join us tonight, but I don't know if he is going to make it.
I guess we'll do our awkward hi.
I'm not here.
I'm not here. I like it. You wait right until the podcast starts and then you back out.
oh.
Okay, so yes, we are here, Winbjorn. What's up, man? Guys, if you don't know who Winbjorn is, oh, hold up, I gotta do a couple of things real quick. Take it away, Uko, you lead us in.
I think that if Uko leads us in,
No,
he'll lead us down a dark, dark place.
I am. Look, I'm not angry. I'm just sleepy.
I'm not angry, I'm just sleepy.
I think Uko is like perpetually sleepy now.
Yeah,
I'm always like poking him with a stick to force him to keep editing.
Oh, dude, you're like,
That's
you've
pretty
hit
much
sleep
what it
debt, haven't you, Uko?
Oh yeah, I've
Oh.
had sleep debt since at least Halloween.
We live
It's
in
kinda
perpetual
crazy.
sleep debt.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm right there with you, brother.
We spend
yeah.
like 3 hours editing each video.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yep.
What were we talking about before the podcast? Oh, Visceral Cleanup Detail. I meant to ask. Okay, what is the player limit for that game?
I don't know, man,
Because
but
I
you can
wanna
easily get out
join-
of control really
Yeah, 'cause
fast.
I want to join a game with like 15 people trying to clean stuff all at once.
All right.
You've
Nope.
never played Viscera Cleanup, have you? Good.
No, I haven't.
It's the
It's
most
the
chill.
weirdest game you'll
yeah,
ever play.
What it is, it's a chill out game involving cleaning up organs and like blood
Yup.
material and stuff. It's indescribable.
So
It's
what are we actually going to talk
indescribable.
about? What are we actually going to talk about as far as events in gaming?
Here's what we're gonna do, Spicy. We are going to, or Corwin. I always call Corwin Spicy because I talk to Corwin more than Uko. Corwin, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start out with the discussion point on why the gaming industry is so determined to remove mechanics that are in fact not broken.
Like turn-based games of all varieties, for example. And it's like every time you think that they're learning their lesson, they're like, nah, it's done forever. Like any minute now, they're gonna cancel XCOM 2 because, you know, reasons.
Basically someone's gonna find out what it is.
Yup.
Oh,
Say,
and I
"Oh,
know what
wait a
else we
minute."
can talk about. All right. So, hey, what's up, Lazy Dragon? Hey, Connor, how you guys doing tonight? Sorry about that, Corwin and Uko. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just saying hi to everyone and finding us some backup topics. So,
But you know, I saw a video by Jim Sterling, and he was talking about how completely insane it is that they took out the turn-based combat system from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and he mentioned how, you know, occasionally the gaming industry does this, where they'll say, "Oh, you know, that's all archaic and done now. We should never do it again," and there's no evidence whatsoever. It's like games come out all the time using, like, smaller games come out using those mechanics, or like, for example, World War II games. So one day the gaming industry just thought, hey, we can never do World War II games again. We can only do super modern future warfare games where people are riding on horses and fighting hoverbirds. You know?
yeah, no, there's definitely that. I believe the example that Jim used in his video was Bravely Default, because they released Bravely
Yeah.
Default, and it was turn-based, and it did, like, ridiculously better than Square Enix thought it was going to do. And then they did the Final Fantasy VII remake without turn-based combat.
Yep. And it seriously blows my mind that they would do that.
You know what's
I don't
really
even know
sad?
what's wrong with turn-based gaming?
What's really sad is that South Park Stick of Truth felt like an amazing game, and, like, it's not super deep. The only reason it felt amazing is because it felt like a classic turn-based RPG.
Exactly. I mean,
Oh, sorry, I'm choking here.
Uko was gonna cough himself into an early grave because of
I
his
was
YouTube screaming here.
That's totally what it is.
But,
But I agree with you entirely about the South Park game. That is exactly how I felt. That I mean, it's not a diss on the game. It's not like it's super shallow or anything. But you're right that that if it had similar mechanics but been real time, everyone would have been like, eh.
Yeah, I agree.
No, and I
of
mean
course
they.
now,
Go ahead, Corwin.
now they've even gotten rid of turn-based in like the ultimate turn-based turn-based game, Dragon Quest. I like the new Dragon Quest game, but it's like a Dynasty Warriors clone in some ways. Even though it's better than any Dynasty Warriors game I've ever played, it's basically just a Dynasty Warrior game made by the people who make Dynasty Warriors.
Well,
And it's just kind of mind-blowing.
Didn't Jim also talk about in his video about how Pokemon has remained turn-based, and they sell a new version of the same damn Pokemon game, an average of every 9 months, and it gets bought by the same people millions of times over and over again. So if people will buy millions of copies of the same remade Pokemon game with a different color stuck on the end of it, why would they think they wouldn't buy a totally new, awesome, innovative turn-based game? It doesn't make sense.
I'm seeing what Windbjorn just said about hoping that Battlefield will go back to World War II. I really fucking hope that too. I want to see World War II shooters with like modern generation graphics.
I remember Battlefield 1982. Was that what it was? The first one they did, where it was World War
42, yeah.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. I thought it was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen, and then it just like all became modern and crappy. Lazy Dragon Lazy Dragon, is that legit or are you joking? Lazy Dragon just said in YouTube chat that Bravely Default 2 now without turn-based combat.
Is that actually going to happen?
Crap.
That's why I said, is that legit or is that a joke?
Yeah. Oh my god.
That would be unbelievable.
Also, welcome, Game Goon.
Nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that at all. The reason why
okay, it's a joke.
II
It's a joke. We can all chill.
Okay, good. The reason why
everybody
World
calm
War
down.
II is because like why not? Basically, it's a classic gaming setting, and they just suddenly decided for no reason to never make a World War II shooter ever again.
And obviously, I do think the reason why it got burned over was because it's a non-controversial war. If you set something in Vietnam or Korea, there's going to be a political
People are going to
aspect.
get pissed off.
But shooting Nazis,
everybody loves shooting Nazis.
Shooting Nazis is always fun. It's wholesome fun for the whole family.
Yep. Even like the new Wolfenstein game, it couldn't go with like classic World War II. It had to go into like future Nazis from outer space who's taken over the moon, which I actually really liked, but that's what it was about.
Connor says he wants Bad Company 3. I've never played Bad Company.
Yeah, I've never
haven't either. But it's one of those games where I haven't played it, and yet consistently, random people that I meet will be like, "You should play that."
Oh god,
Luca
I love
used to
that.
play Day of Defeat a whole bunch. It's like a mod for Half-Life, like Counter-Strike, except set during World War II, and it was such an amazing game to play. And it's always kind of sad to us that there really aren't very many games like that anymore, where it's just a straight up team-based shooting game, as opposed to now where it's like, oh, you've unlocked level 72, you can do airstrikes from the moon, like in Call of Duty.
Okay, to be fair, like, check this out though. I think what happened that killed the World War II shooter is that they made Call of Duty World at War. And because the guns in that game fired somewhat realistically, like if you shot from a hella far distance, you had to count for drop and stuff.
Yeah.
Like all of the Call of Duty players were like, fuck this shit.
Well, that's sad because that happened in Battlefield the whole time.
Of course, World at War was by far the best Call of Duty game, in my opinion, anyway.
And also, it was the reason why the original Black Ops is worth playing. I'm not going to give spoilers, but there are connections between the storyline of World at War and the storyline of the original Black Ops that absolutely add value to Black Ops like crazy.
I hate that I'm about to praise Call of Duty for having a single-player story and multiplayer.
Yeah,
but absolutely. And then also, just one of the things I like is they throw in the zombie game.
But I mean, it is true that we had a gaming professor who worked on Call of Duty World at War, and he said they actually only had about 9 months to develop the game.
Yeah,
And
that completely,
just
that
totally
totally blew my
amazing
mind.
that they came out with such an amazing game, given that they only had about 9 actual development months.
I estimate they got about 3 hours of sleep a night.
Yep,
Wasn't that the first one you could use vehicles in too?
I think so.
Yeah.
But like that guy quit the gaming industry forever the instant that he was fired from that job.
Wow.
Which
Yeah,
is
so
pretty
it must have
sad.
been really rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame zombies in World War II games.
Yeah.
And yet
Oh.
if you've ever played those are fun. Those little zombie
Actually, though,
interludes, they are.
Actually, the zombies in Wolfenstein: The Old Blood were really cool. They were some of the best depictions,
Yes,
in
they
my
were.
opinion, of zombies in a video game.
They
Just
just
in the
they
sense that
looked,
they looked awesome.
Yeah, they really did. They looked
like fire and brimstone zombies coming out of hell to eat your asshole
Yeah,
off.
basically any random screenshot looked like the cover off a death metal album.
Yep.
It just did.
So I wanna while we're on the topic of zombies, I am not a huge Call of Duty fan. Anybody who knows me knows that I think that series is nothing but iterative vomit that comes out once a year. But I gotta say this. I actually enjoyed zombies in the older games, but once they started putting the stupid fucking Easter egg things into the zombie games, it just fucking blew. It actually just blew. And I'll tell you why. Because normally you sit down to play zombies, at least this was the mindset that I had. I'm going to sit down and play zombies, so we're going to try to survive as many waves of zombies as we can. That's the game.
Uh-huh.
And instead, once
yeah.
they added these bullshit fucking Easter eggs, every time I sit down to play this game, a match that should take 30 minutes takes 5 hours because these fucking people are looking for fucking hamburger meat sitting on a pipe or a
I
bun.
did not realize they did that.
You see, that's
That
the thing
is
that
a
I want, right? I want in a video game to where motherfuckers will not have the opportunity to say that I'm playing the game wrong by playing it the right way.
Yeah,
That's
sucks.
the shit that I hate. It's like, I don't want to search for a hamburger. I want to fucking kill your face off. That's like what gaming is about
I
to
agree
me.
completely. Because I mean, when you think about it, adding that zombie game, to a completely other, totally alternate game, that where it's just a thing tagged onto the end. That's tenuous as it is. You start adding stuff on that, it's gonna fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes the entire experience bullshit. It really does.
That's sad.
Well, and
Okay, talking about experiences and bullshit, I asked this question earlier and we kind of discussed it, but what about mods that wind up being better than the base game?
You see, that's
yeah.
something I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to talk about because, I mean, we have been playing a whole bunch of Project Brutality, which is a mod for Brutal Doom.
Or for Doom, yeah.
Well, for Doom and Brutal Doom.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And, it adds so much to the actual Doom experience that it's an amazing game. To me, it's exactly neck and neck with Fallout and Hotline Miami as my favorite game of the year. And it makes me really sad that nothing has come out in the shooter community that is even close to as good at being a shooter as a mod for a 20-plus-year-old game.
Absolutely.
That is pathetic to me.
so what would you say comparing Brutal Doom to Wolfenstein: The New Order?
Okay, what I would say is that Wolfenstein: The New Order is, even though it is much more of a running forward shooting people game than like most shooters are these days, it still has stealth elements to it. Actually, stealth elements to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Brutal Doom is a game where it comes down to good level design and good gunplay. And I think that is really the difference, is that these days a lot of thought is put into various, like, adding multiple types of gameplay and different kinds of development paths for the character, which is good in a role-playing game, but not good in a shooter. Like, I don't want to be having to force to, like, if I want to have an extra grenade, creep up on someone and stab him in the asshole 18 times to unlock a perk that lets me hold a 6th grenade. That's just, I want to be running forward, melting faces.
Absolutely.
And sadly, modders are actually better capable of delivering that than any developer that I can think of right now.
But Corwin, why wouldn't you want to have to get 200 headshots to unlock your ghillie suit?
Oh.
Fuck that, dude. I literally never got the ghillie suit in any of the Call of Duties past Modern Warfare 1 because of how many fucking sniper
that's
headshots you needed.
That is totally nuts.
Okay,
I
that
am-
brings up another good question then. What about achievements for achievement sakes? Like, I know that when I play games, I'm an achievement hoe, I'll admit it. I love having all the little check marks all checked off because that's the OCD in me. But there's like a lot of worthless achievements in games, and it feels like they just put it in there, like, just to like feed the trolls.
Jump your
Oh-
character
oh, yeah.
60,000
Honestly-
times for an achievement.
One of the things that I hate the most in gaming, and I admit that I go after achievements, and like I 100% completed Fallout 4 really quickly, and I did the same thing with like Hotline Miami and Party Hard and a bunch of games like that. But what I hate is, let's say I know a lot of people hated it, but I really enjoyed the 2013 Tomb Raider game. But I wanted to get 100% achievements in it, but I realized I never could because some of them involved getting 500 kills in the stupid multiplayer that you just know 2 seconds after the game was out, people were already done playing it multiplayer. And by the time I even bought the game, there were probably I would have to spend years hanging out trying to get the 500 different types of different things that you'd need to get 100% achievements. And so I just said, fuck this shit. I'm never getting 100% achievements on this. This game can die in a fire.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna have to go.
How I felt.
It's like you're gonna have to go on Craigslist and offer to pay people
Yeah.
to play with you. Like, no, I don't want you to take off your clothes and nothing like that. Just play Tomb Raider and let me shoot you in the face.
I think that's fair. I honestly, like, because of the way that achievements have gone, like, I think that for the most part, achievements should be given for doing something like the absolute hardest way in a game. Like, oh, you're not supposed to do this like unarmed, but you totally did it unarmed, so here's
Yeah.
an achievement. Like, so if I play a game and it's got a bunch of achievements that are like get 50 wins online, I'm just like, fuck this, I'm not even gonna bother.
See, the way I feel about it is achievements should be 50-50. They should be 50% of them should be for actually completing the game, and then the other 50% should be for performing like feats of weird shit in the game.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This brings up something that I was thinking about the whole achievement whore thing and all that. A while back, I noticed. I forget which programmer it was. It was one of those game development environment programs like Game Creator or whatever it is. Game Creator 2009, whatever,
Yeah.
And that there were achievements for the sort of completely tool side of it. And I realized that means they could put, Steam could put achievements into your word processor or your spreadsheet or whatever. And the evil genius that is not being realized, employers could add achievements to their productivity software and have people working round the clock for free to get those achievements.
Oh my
They could
god.
just phase out.
That is
salary
Uko,
people.
Uko, I'm gonna cut the stream. Stop
Yeah,
giving them
I know.
ideas. Jesus Christ, do you not understand the point of this stream? We're trying to stop this kind of bullshit. Just wait until fucking type your reports fucking free comes out.
Oh my god,
there's-
you're right.
There's like various different types of, money manager softwares on Steam that have achievements. that just makes me giggle
Seriously?
so hard.
That is crazy.
Didn't you guys know Papers, Please is actually just that? It's somebody actually like doing
like-
the work for that board.
Yeah, it's like filed for bankruptcy achievement.
Oh no. Oh,
See,
I
I
love
have a
that.
different take on achievements. Like, I don't have a problem with like, having to do something that's like really incredibly difficult and, ooh, I did it. I get the perk of saying I did it or whatever. But there are some that are so pointless, and I have to go back to Secret World because this is something that Good was a part of with us. There was one where you went and did a headstand on a cliff.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Let me guess. It triggered the very first time wrong.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
You had to find that one little pixel to stand on.
Exactly, because that's what everyone has as their idea of fun.
Yep.
And did it because achievement hoe, but it was like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Well,
Why?
also, okay, there's also a limit to which achievements should be pop culture references, because it's like a machine for making you feel unhip. Because it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't see that Ben Stiller movie, so I don't give a shit what this is. But but then it makes you feel bad. It's like I'm not with the young hipness,
Well, it's like Dead Rising
Oh,
3 on the
man.
PC. Dead Rising 3 on the PC. There's a bug in one of the DLC, and if it happens, you have to basically replay the entire
Unsieged.
fucking game.
it's really
The
bad.
entire game.
Okay, guys,
to
one
get that
second.
achievement.
I want to say hi to someone who just dropped in on YouTube. Hey, welcome, Brett. We are great today. We are talking games, which is always entertaining. And Unsieged, man, I appreciate that. That is amazing. Thank you for that. For those who don't know, Unsieged
Unsieged, our
just said,
favorite
I
one.
literally have 6 other streamers that I follow on, but then again, good's on.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, like I don't know, achievements are one of those things where like games feel like they either do it really really well, and you like some of the achievements in Darkest Dungeons are amazing. Like they're just, when you get them, you're just like, fuck yes, I fought and I bled and I cried for this. And then like honestly, the ones I dislike, and feel free to agree with me, Corwin, because I think you were fine with this, I don't see the point in the ones that are like, congratulations, you played the game.
Yeah,
See, I think that
yeah.
to a certain degree, achievements exist as like a record of what you've done in games. And that's why I think that I'm totally cool with 50% of them just being for completing the game.
Yeah, but
And
there should be a mix. They shouldn't
Yeah.
go above 50% like that. And also, when they are like that, then I think they should be definitely not named after catchy pop culture references or whatever. It should be something where people will see that and have an idea that that's a progression achievement and not a silly achievement or whatever.
you see, I think that in a really good, well designed achievement type of situation, you'll be able to. I guess it doesn't make as much sense on Steam, for example, as it does on like the Xbox. But there are some people for whom they judge their quality as a gamer based on like the pure number of actual games that they've completed, and they don't need to complete 100%. They just want to have the number of games completed.
That's kind of hollow.
And
Okay,
I'm cool with that though.
All right, I just gave Connor the info. I'll give it to Winbjorn here too. We are gonna kill Feed Me Pixels. Yes, it's gonna be great. No, I'm glad that it can probably handle a lot more than this. Speaking of which, though, guys, I am gonna take 1 second here to say thank you once again to Feed Me Pixels for providing us with this TS server to do this, because we didn't have any other way that like everybody was synced up on. So thank you guys
I'm
again.
gonna have to like rig up a can in the string or something.
Yeah,
We
it's
still
like,
have it waiting just in case.
you don't want to have to accidentally go on my World of Warcraft guild's Ventrilo, because if that were to happen, a whole bunch of weird perverts would suddenly descend on our podcast, and
Don't we already
they'll
have
be-
some of those?
yes,
I
we
mean,
do.
Unsieged is here.
Oh, be nice to Unsieged. He like complimented me today.
He's my favorite troll. I have to troll him back.
Unsieged is
Speaking of achievements that were like stunt achievements, but that were satisfying, was the one in Half-Life what is it, episode 2?
Yeah.
The one
the
where you have to
gnome?
get the gnome. Yeah, you have to bring the garden gnome that you find really early in the game all the way to the end and put it in a rocket when it lifts off. It's actually incredible doing that. It makes the game twice as much fun because you have to be worrying about what you're going to do with the damn gnome. And like the best part is you can put it in the car, kind of. You can't strap it in. So you have to keep finding ways to like jam it into the floorboard, and then when you go over bumps, you can watch it bumping around and stuff.
Although honestly, I will say that my biggest pet peeve with achievements is when you're gated from having 100% achievements by that $5 DLC that adds like My Little Pony clothing or whatever.
Yeah, that pisses me off.
And
that's not cool.
You need to do the My Little Pony achievement.
Yeah, I think that
to get
the honest
100%.
sort of consumer-friendly way to do it would it would would be 100% of the achievements you can get.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's just the
completely.
honest way.
You know what just occurred to me while we were talking about this? It would be really nice if the achievements that they put in for multiplayer actually had a single player alternate, like trigger.
Yes,
I agree with that.
absolutely.
That would be awesome. Or if games would be listed by multiplayer and single player separately.
Or if they would go the route that that Warcraft does, and the multiplayer ones were like feats of strength that would show up on the little thing, and you could see them, but they wouldn't count towards the the percentage.
We all know that I kind of hate multiplayer gaming, which is really weird coming from someone that used to be a total fiend at Counter-Strike.
and who still plays WoW.
Yes. But I'm so just a single player gamer these days.
Actually, though, think about what you just talked about. You have played MMOs for years and years and years, and you played Counter-Strike for years and years, and surprise, surprise, you hate everyone who plays games on the internet.
That is so true. Then again, it is kind of funny also that I play so many games co-op with Uko, but I consider myself to be quote-unquote only doing single player.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Like, what's funny is you get people commenting like on our Broforce videos, because sometimes playing a game local co-op actually makes it harder than playing it alone.
Just in general,
And
even if
because-
I'm not sucking.
like for example, Broforce, there's no split screen of any kind, so if one player runs ahead of the other, there is no the screen will just like get stuck, and you're stuck getting like dragged off the edge by the other player, and it actually makes it a lot harder to play co-op than it does to play single player. But then you get the people coming in and like leaving hate comments like, "Yes, y'all are terrible at this. I did it solo." Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
actually hear that tone come through the
Oh, yeah.
text too. That's
Yeah,
the
you can.
important
Oh yeah,
part.
totally.
It's like
totally.
it's like the thing is, inevitably, if you do something like that, there will be a hater who gets attracted to you. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Well, one of the best.
All
things
you
on
need to
YouTube-
do is send them a
Go on.
very nicely worded email and they will stop.
I've heard that too.
Yes.
I
But
I
they
actually had it
definitely won't
work.
do-
I had it work, so
Really interesting.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I
did I not
the
tell
other
you about that,
night,
Uko?
Troll on the stream.
Okay, but the one you can't stop is the one you don't know who it is that gets mad at you for as long as their attention span will go. And so for the next like 1 to 3 days, downvotes appear on everything.
Oh yeah, you
And
can't
so
do anything about
you can
that.
you can see them, just their attention span falls off, and they just forget to hate on you.
Yup.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, Uko, I didn't tell you the story. Okay, so Corwin's already heard it, Azrael's already heard it, everybody's already heard it, but it's okay because it's funny and I'm gonna share it with Uko.
Cool.
So, God, I can't even remember what it was. I think it was like the first time I put up a Darkest Dungeon video.
Yeah, I think it was.
And these two like 16-year-old girls who post videos of them doing like internet challenges decided to hop on the video and comment 4 times with like the most vulgar shit I've ever read. Most of it ending in like kill yourself.
Which is
That's
totally
hardcore,
uncool.
man. What the?
Yeah,
the
no,
hell?
and I never even had like a troll in between that was just a jerk, so I was just like caught off guard and shocked. Unsieged, oh my god, that would be amazing, man. I would love EU4 just so I could play with you, man. Sorry, so the whole thing goes down, and like the first thing I did, because my first instinct was I responded to the comments and I was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you liked my video so much that you felt that you needed to comment 4 times. Thank you for
But if
helping me
you're
climb the
throwing
search engine.
sarcasm against a teenager, that's it's like trying to bomb a bomb with a bomb.
No, it was more like killing him with kindness is what I was going for. But sarcasm was part of it. Whatever the case, they kept going. They started jumping to old videos and doing it. And then, like, I was talking to Darius Wolf in Google Chat, and I was, like, thinking it over. And I was like, you know what? These are 2 16-year-old girls. If my daughter did something like this, I wouldn't want the person to, like, yell at them and tell them to stop being assholes. I would want them to try to reach out and help, and that's what I did. So I sent them a message, and in that message, hey, what's up, Connor? Go ahead and say hi, Connor, and then I'll finish. Or don't. Okay. Well, you can say hi when you get here. Anyways, so I sent them a message, and I was like, look, I don't know if you guys are doing this to try to promote your channel, I don't know if you're doing this just because you get a kick out of it, but you need to understand that on the other side of the monitor, there's a person. And I basically said, if you guys are trying to do this to promote your channel, then just message me back. There's way better ways to do this.
You're like, just go over. There's another channel called Spicy Waffle. To them instead.
Oh, I like it.
No, but they never messaged back, but the hate stopped right after I sent the message.
That's really cool. And like the thing is, nothing you said was going to be drastically hurtful to them. It just hopefully it woke them up. That's
That's
the
exactly
best way to handle it.
See, whereas like, and Uko can confirm this. When I was younger, I was like a terrifying asshole. I mean, at least some of the time, and like I had this
No, I can't imagine
reputation.
that at all.
I had this reputation as being like almost like the bad seed evil child, and so like if somebody did that to me, the evil would probably come out in me, and I'd be like, "You just made the list. You fucked up really fucking bad there. I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna destroy you. You have awakened the base."
So wait a minute. So you're saying that sometimes you slip into that voice, and that was your internal monologue when you were 13?
Yeah, that was totally what it was like.
Son of a bitch. That's crazy.
Okay, so now that
learned
we've
something.
established that Corwin is crazy, I'm gonna stop here for a second. Connor, you're here now, right? I saw you say something.
Wait, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
you.
Yo.
Okay, there we go.
Cool.
Hey, what's up,
Hi,
guys?
Connor.
Hey, Connor,
What up?
welcome.
Watching the stream in this is confusing.
Oh yeah, that's why you gotta mute the stream and then listen to this.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just gotta remember though, right, to not fuck up and awaken the beast.
No, so Unsieged, or no, Fable Scroll just said regarding single-player and multiplayer component to achievements, Obsidian did that wonderfully. I've been trying out their free-to-play game, Armored Warfare, and you need to unlock achievements to unlock new vehicle branches, something like deal 500 damage to light tanks in PvP, or 7,500 damage in PvE. So that is that alternating system I was saying they should have, where it's like, one way or another you can get it.
Yeah, there's an equivalent.
Yeah.
That makes that's how it should roll. It is.
That's what I go for in a game. There's a PvE aspect. I never go PvP. I'm more of a PvE. So having that option is nice.
Yeah, I'm not huge on PvP either, which is like silly because, well, for example, like my guilty pleasure is UFC on the Xbox because they won't ever make it for PC because they hate me and want me to buy games for bad consoles. Anyway, whatever, fuck that.
That reminds me of the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is everybody like orgasming with joy about Kojima making his quote-unquote independent studio, and then immediately partnering up with Sony so that his studio can shit out PS4 exclusives for the next however fucking long. I don't see how that's a win for gamers at all, personally. That's just my opinion, though.
Wait, what's going on, Bjorn? Why is TS asking you to pay?
Yeah, TS should not be asking you to pay.
No.
Wimbjorn, are you... you want me to find you a good link where you can get it for free, like at their actual site or something?
Yeah, because that's sketchy as hell.
Yeah, that is sketchy as hell.
To be honest, I just installed Speak like not even 5 minutes ago.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Oh, Bjorn's using his phone.
User joined your channel.
Oh, okay, that's why it won't work,
Maybe
Bjorn.
that's why.
And to
Hello?
answer HC, I know Gore's using my phone to type in, so it's coming in as I'm the one typing. But right now, we've got Goods on there. Both the Spicy Waffle Brothers, Uko and Corwin, myself, Asriel, Gore,
I'm not here.
Connor, and somebody else just joined.
Yeah, that would be me. At least if you can hear me.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, Fable
Yep.
Scroll?
Welcome. Well then, where did we stop before we got sidetracked by who's here?
I was ranting about the Kojima studio signing up with Sony so that they could crap out PS4 exclusives for
Yeah.
the rest of forever.
I don't think that's a victory for gaming community either, because exclusives are, in my opinion, really, really bad.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Though I should probably add, yes, because I've had about a decade of experience of everybody telling me, "Oh, you need to play this game; it's really good." And my answer was
Yup.
always, "No, I don't have a PS2. No, I don't have a Wii U. No, I don't have a
Exactly.
Dreamcast."
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Dreamcast.
Oh my god. Yeah, my coworkers all play like Destiny, and they're like, "Oh, you totally need to get a fucking PlayStation 4 and play Destiny with us." And I'm like, "No, for two reasons. Because Destiny is a shooter pretending to be an MMO that's got an empty fucking world, and no,
Yep.
because PS4."
Also,
And I would say also, Destiny is a shooter. Why would I play that on a console?
yeah.
when, as far as I know, it's
that's a big
available on
thing for
PC.
me.
Get good.
It's not available on the PC actually, which is
No.
totally insane.
Yeah, it should have
I
been.
thought
Should be on the PC.
It should have been. They would have
It really should have
Yeah,
been.
a much, much greater user base.
I would have played it if it was on the PC.
Yeah,
just
no
because,
question. Because I mean,
I like playing games, but
and like
But-
it
but
could have
the-
been like an equivalent of
ooh, that
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
that
one
noise,
sec.
that noise is killing me.
Okay, there we go. Connor, I muted you for a second, dude, because there's a bunch of static coming through. I'll re-enable it in a second, or whenever you tell me in chat you're good.
But yeah.
But-
I'm still hearing the noise.
Are you?
That's killing. Yeah.
Yeah. still hearing
not
it.
anymore though.
I
Okay,
think you
cool.
just muted him on your side.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, Connor.
But I guess the fact that Destiny is not available on PC fits very well into, well, there's a reason that James Portnoy has started a series just called Destiny What? Where he picks apart all the bad decisions they've made.
Oh, I like it.
That's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
that was awesome.
We need like a Fallout 4 what too, because yeah. That is my game that I'm currently bagging on for the devs making bad decisions.
That's
That is-
grenade hotkey.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the most
Yeah,
infuriating
that,
thing about.
oh
about
my god, yeah,
Fallout.
that's hysterical.
See, I think the most
It's so bad,
infuriating thing is that I was playing Shadowrun Dragonfall earlier today, which was given to me by HC900, who is in our chat and is awesome. I was playing that earlier today, and all I could think was, man, Airbrain Schemes can sure write better dialogue than Bethesda.
And see, I think my theory about that is correct. I think that what it is that 20 years ago, it was totally okay. Like, you form a game studio, and there's Steve, who's the really good programmer, and then there's Bill and Todd, who can do really good management and art and or whatever, and then there's, Jimmy and whoever the fuck who can do whatever the fuck they do. And then though, there's William who can't do shit, but he's really good friends with everybody. They're like, hey William, you can totally write the dialogue. It'll be cool because no one cares about stories in games.
And no one wants to write.
But
the dialogue.
now people care about stories in games because it's 2015,
Yep.
not 1990 fucking one. And but that guy is like, he's cemented. He's a part of the fucking team, and there's no way to get rid of him. That's really what it is, in my opinion.
Or he's like the CEO's son.
Yeah,
exactly.
But-
So yeah, he's undislodgeable.
it's like that
Yeah.
guy who a good example of how it works out sometimes. That guy, I think his name is Tim Willits, who he used to like do some sort of writing or something for id Software, but now he's just like their like PR person or something like that. He handles business stuff, which is something acceptable for the guy who doesn't have as much game design talent to do.
Well, and
But
we all know that
here's-
there's a lot of
here's-
family and friends
Here's
that
the
work for
thing,
it.
though.
Go ahead, Fable.
1980 something, when Randall Bills started the original FASA, their writing was crap.
Yeah.
And well, today we get Dragonfall, so
User joined your channel.
they don't really have an excuse because with
Well-
20 years under his belt,
See,
he
I
should
don't.
have
that is
gotten
true,
at least
but-
somewhat better.
See, I don't think it's so much though of an excuse as that they get rewarded so much for the good gameplay and good world building that they do, and thus nobody wants to. Like nobody tells them you got to step it up with the fucking
it's
story.
that they're able to
Yeah,
drag
no,
that
I'm
anchor along.
not saying that they would be told you need to step it up. I'm just saying that after 20 years, if it's really like that it's just the same team still, then the writer
Oh, yeah,
should
there's
have
no
gotten better
excuse.
naturally, just from experience.
You would
You
think
would
so.
think
they
so,
must
but
have,
it's
they
not
might have
always
actually
like that.
fired the guys who have gotten better and hired new people who couldn't write.
So what Fable Scroll is trying to say, let me rephrase this, is what Fable Scroll is trying to say is that after 20 years you would think their scrubby ass writer would have learned something. And
Yeah,
if
you
he
would think
has,
so.
then they must have been firing good writers to hire bad ones because that's how inept their writing department is.
I want that to be the version that's true.
It makes
I
sense,
guess
doesn't
what
it?
is, though, is that sometimes when artistic decisions are made badly, it's because someone it's not that someone lacks experience, it's that they have bad ideas. And you
Yeah.
can keep having awful ideas for 20 years and still think they're great. And so if you're entrenched, you're entrenched.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, it's weird too because like I won't say that Bethesda can't write any dialogue because I don't know about you guys, but when I played like Oblivion, the only parts that I liked were the side quests, like the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves
Oh,
Guild was
yeah.
amazing, but like the
And
main
the
story
thing
was
that made me
shit.
sad, the thing that made me sad is that some of those got sort of lighter. Like the Dark Brotherhood one was enormous and very richly detailed in Skyrim, and the Thieves Guild one was okay, but not really that great, comparatively. But in Oblivion, they were all much more richly detailed, in my opinion.
Thing is, I know I've said this a million times, but something did go wrong as far as their writing between Morrowind and Oblivion, in my opinion.
In my opinion, not just the writing, but also the art design. Because if I think back to Morrowind, it was this interesting world that just the screenshots on the back immediately pulled me in, and Oblivion looked like such a generic fantasy world.
And I think that what it is, though, is that like Oblivion was gonna look generic because it was set in that part of the game world that was gonna be generic, because essentially it's just that the Cyrodiil is supposed to be just like a rip-off of medieval Europe and
Yes,
ancient Rome.
I had expected the actual towns to look generic, but even the Aelid ruins and all the stuff where they
Now
could have
that's
done
true.
something.
That is very true because, at the end of the day, you had the Iliad ruins looking like a slightly different Roman ruin, which is opposed to the Roman towns that the Empire has built. So yeah, that's a real hair-thin distinction. You're absolutely right about that.
Okay,
But they
Unsiege
threw in
wants
some blue
to.
lights.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, the blue lights.
All right, Unsiege wants to ask everyone: have you seen Angry Joe?
I've seen some of his videos. Yes.
I've seen a couple.
I've seen a lot of his videos. Mainly, I watch them to see if I completely disagree with him or completely agree with him because it usually fluctuates based on what he's covering.
I usually
I've also seen Angry Joe, and I'm kind of the same way. It's either 100% against or 100% support what he says.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually usually pick out the videos where I know he's passionate about the topic, like an Aliens game or a Star Wars game, because that's when he's at the most entertaining. Because he gets really worked up over it.
I could probably make an incredibly entertaining and maddening video about my opinion of J.J. Abrams, but I'm not going to do it right here.
Oh my god. Wait, that was Uko, right?
Yes.
Uko, are you talking about Star Wars?
I'm talking about. Well, actually, I'm really talking about Star Trek because that's why I hate J.J. Abrams.
Uko has
despise-
such strong opinions
I
about J.J.
despise
Abrams.
the new Star Trek movie.
And
New movies
see,
so
like
much.
he knows that we'll get into a fist fight if we talk about this, so he's bringing it up during the podcast so that I can't actually physically fight him right now.
But yeah, this is why. But this is why I understand. This idea of highly polarized personal opinions going into videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I
I
could
thought
say
the new
the
Star
difference
Trek.
between you guys and Angry Joe is you're not making money just off being angry. You're actually providing content.
Yeah, I can actually see that's a
Yeah,
really
that is
a
an
really big
important
deal.
distinction.
Okay, Connor, you were saying something, man. Sorry about that.
I was
Everybody's
saying
sort
the new
of.
Star Treks were a little bit more refreshing compared to the older stuff. I mean, I'm a fan of the older things, but a part of me enjoyed the newer series because it was like a new, fresh spin on it. Although there was parts of it that really just kind of, hurt that what I had, as a kid, just
Do you
didn't.
mean the midair katana fight? That really
Yes,
kind of yeah.
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was.
And I mean, I was the awful story about that with me is that I don't often read graphic novels, but a buddy of ours hands me his like first generation iPhone or whatever it was, and says, "Here, I know you're not happy about them setting Star Trek, in this alternate thing." Hands me his iPhone, and I read the entire setup comic that shows how the alternate universe got created, and I was stoked. I thought it was a really excellent crossover comic, and then as Corwin points out, mid-air katana fight and, Simon Pegg playing his hilarious version of Scotty. And then I was just like, oh.
Yep.
For what it's
Oh,
worth,
yeah.
I think that J.J. Abrams played like super ridiculously safe with the new Star Wars movie, and that is all I will say because I'm not going to spoil anything.
I
Safe
haven't
is the
seen
right
it.
word to use.
I have not seen it at all. So
Yeah, I'm sad that I haven't seen it, but yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it is a good movie,
I
but
haven't
it's safe.
seen it either. The closest cinema
was
is,
spoiled for
I
me.
think, 2 hours drive away.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I got lucky. My work took us to see it.
cool.
You
Did y'all
didn't
see
even have
the,
to pay. That's good. That means you can't lose money if it's bad.
Yeah.
oh, okay. There was a long time ago. We were at this event. I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of it. It was called the CPL. It was the Cyber Athlete Professional League. It was a gaming tournament like 10 or so years ago. And what was that movie that you got to see for free?
Oh, it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie. If I say the really stupid M. Night Shyamalan movie, it's really going to narrow it down, right? Anyway, it was one of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. And I had this really, really weird experience where I was talking to the millionaire who hosted the event, who had not seen the movie yet, but apparently he was like a fan and was eager to see it. And I'm like, he wanted me to tell him about the movie. And I'm having this conversation, like I'm trying not to spoil this movie for a millionaire who's also wanting me to tell him about the plot of the movie. It was awkward.
Oh, who was your employer
Oh
at
yeah.
the time?
Also, yeah, he was also my employer at the time. So yeah, it was very strange.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
Huh.
and I can't remember the plot of the movie now, or the name of the movie.
Well, it doesn't matter
Oh.
because any M. Night Shyamalan movie, really,
it's
the
the
way he
same
sets
thing,
up
yeah.
his movies alwaly run up to a twist, don't they?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Let's
exactly.
think about Avatar.
It was the one with
Yes,
Joaquin
with a
Phoenix in it.
twist, like Robot Chicken.
Was that the
Yep.
Village?
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that's the
Oh,
one.
that's the one. Yep.
I
Oh
was
my
busy
God.
actually doing pro gaming at the time, and Uko goes and sees that movie.
As I recall, Corwin got the better end of the deal.
Yes. Oh,
Okay. Hold on.
we have such good stories
Oh, from the CPL? Yeah.
from the CPL, but we will tell when the feedback issue gets taken care of.
Has somebody
HC?
got something on in the
Yeah,
background?
HC, we're picking up whatever's in the background, man. Unless
Or
that's
maybe
you and the
him
mic's just
talking
not
and
like.
his mic is
yeah.
not working out very well at all.
We got one person online. The workload is enough for like 10 users. I can get a hacker.
Sound like
Johnny Sugar for the Gibson's working really
I just can't tell. Okay,
I'm pretty sure we are in some kind of feedback loop
Am I open mic?
because
that
it's
is
the
totally
same
what's happening
That's
clip.
what's
here.
going on.
Yeah.
We're looking into the future, guys.
Guys, we're riding the fucking loop.
For HC is a droid.
Oh, I think I just actually heard him talk for a second there. I could be wrong though.
HC, you there, man?
I'll
Oh,
go
there we
second.
go. He muted himself. Okay, I'm guessing that it just isn't set right and he's working on it.
Okay, so I know this is like a semi NSFW, not really. Fuck it if anybody doesn't want to hear it. But we were at this CPL event, and it's like a thing where you bring your computer, and it's a big gaming event a long time ago, and we went there, and there were some friends who were like fans of me in in the gaming world.
In the Counter-Strike
I
scene,
actually used
yeah.
to be a really good CS player, but so this one kid had brought his like mother's suitcase
for his computer
for
stuff.
his computer stuff.
And we're setting up
And
our
so-
computers in the LAN area.
And so this kid and his friend are taking the stuff out of the suitcase, and the one kid pulls out what is obviously to me and Uko a vibrator. And
It
he's
was one
like,
of those little finger-sized ones.
yeah,
the
and
little-
he's like,
little
"What is
rocket-shaped one.
this?" And we're like, "Dude, it's your buddy's mother's vibrator." And the look that came on his face was this one of like shock and awe. And he like tosses it way over halfway across the room.
Just hucks it
like
without
this
looking.
room, this like big old hall full of literally thousands of people, and it lands right next to this really popular female gamer at the time. And
My
like
God.
she didn't see, but there were these huge amounts of people like hanging out near her. And like when the guy went to go get the vibrator back for
No,
whatever reason,
I
like put it back.
I
in,
went over there because
Now-
he asked me to.
and it was just gone. And I just know that there is somebody out there who was all like, "Oh yes, I've stolen the female gamer's vibrator and I will add it to my collection. And I will make a shrine." to it."
Oh.
Such an
Oh, the worst
insatiable
part, he
thing
probably
that
did have
she
a
had to
shrine.
bring it to the gaming
Yes.
event.
The saddest part is that I can only agree to that sentiment that such a person exists because this is just how humanity works.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like, we
You know
saw
what's
it.
sad is you guys
I
are all
want to have
talking about how he
faith in
put it on a
humanity, but
shrine.
they
I'm
prove
thinking
me
so
wrong
worse.
3 times a day.
Oh no. He decorated it with his own juices before he put it
Ah.
on the
No, he looked directly into his mouth.
He actually jammed it into his foreskin.
Like the best part about it is I had a better view of it than Corwin. I saw it clatter around to the floor and go into it like a knot of people who I didn't see notice it.
Yeah.
And I had to wait. That's how crowded this place was. I had to wait for the people to sort of clear out. And I went walking around over there. It was gone. It's just somebody picked it up. What a maniac.
We saw so many amazing things at the CPL and various other events like that we went to.
I saw a fist fight.
Yeah, I saw a
Good, you
fist
would have
fight, too.
loved
There
this.
was this really tiny, really skinny kid fighting this really enormous gamer, and like the really enormous guy could not punch fast enough, and the little skinny kid was like laying into him with his little micro fist,
But couldn't do any damage.
and then eventually the bouncers came and like basically picked the guy up and carried him off. And
I don't think I would
another
ever
thing is-
thought about that.
my brother at some point there was this guy, Big Wee was his name. I don't care. I'm naming names.
Did you just say Big
Okay.
Ween?
Big Wee.
Big wee.
And so Big Wee.
thought he
And
said
so
Big
Big
Ween.
Wee he asked my brother if he can borrow the screwdriver he has. So my brother, being not crazy, let him have the screwdriver. And so the guy comes back about like 45 minutes later with a big old fucking suitcase full of hard drives and CPUs and motherboards and
That he
video
jacked
cards.
from people's
that he had clearly
computers in the
stolen
LAN.
people's computers and trying to sell them to us. And I'm like, I had nothing to do with that, and give me my fucking screwdriver back.
I would have
Yeah,
tackled him on
I
the
had
spot.
forgotten about that one.
And,
wow.
Like we went there, and this kind of like maybe outing who I am a little bit, but I was on this Counter-Strike team with a guy named Montre, and Montre is like the largest person you'll ever meet. He's like 6'7". He was a NCAA Division like 1B or something like that linebacker, but he was also a really good CS player, and there were these people who would constantly say all this insanely racist shit about him on the internet, and then they made the mistake of coming to the CPL at the same time as him, and we would just walk around. We would walk around the like bring your own computer area
And go meet
people
the
would be
haters.
giving us free stuff in the hope that like he wouldn't murder them on the spot.
Yeah, for all the insane things they had said, and now he's standing there like a mountain. You know?
Yep. Oh,
He's not
I
your
love
typical
that guy.
gamer.
Like I remember when he
my
was
God.
bringing his computer into the bring your own computer area, and he's got a 22-inch monitor. just in the crook of
CRT
his
monitor.
Arm. Yeah,
CRT monitor. It had to
in the
weigh
crook
80
of his
pounds.
arm, like it's nothing.
Yeah, like it's nothing. Yeah, it was awesome.
That is killing me right now.
Like
That
watching
image.
him sit in the normal sized chairs was just the most hilarious thing you can imagine.
Okay, so
I'm picturing Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Go on.
let's find a topic so we don't just keep wandering, because as
Yeah.
hilarious as this is, we're not getting anywhere. Okay, so mods that are better than games, I think is where we left off.
The original question.
Yeah. Well, no,
It was
wasn't
like an
the...
hour ago.
Oh, wait, no. Star Citizen. We were supposed to cover this last week and we didn't.
Oh,
Let's
right.
get people's opinions on the majesty that is Star Citizen.
Okay, it is the most amazing scheme that I have ever witnessed. Okay,
I like it because you said scheme and not scam, because that's the
Yeah.
distinction.
because the thing is, I was so taken in by it at first. I didn't actually buy the fucking game. I didn't fall for that. I didn't fall for it that badly. But I was like, oh man, I loved Freelancer so much. I'm so into this game. And then I started getting like increasingly suspicious of it, but it's like the more suspicious it looks, the more often you see like, yes, Star Citizen breaks yet another crowdfunding record. And I don't know what the deal is. It's a good thing this guy doesn't want to be the next Hitler, because if he wanted to be the next Hitler, people would fall under his spell and be buying his, like, spending the money to buy his apocalypse equipment.
They would buy his
That's what
Nazi
they would be
Scout
doing.
cookies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
That's exactly Nazi Scout
Okay.
cookies.
I have to ask for clarification because Star Citizen is not something that I'm familiar with, so I don't know what all.
Oh, okay, I can
Who's
do
with
this. I can do this. Okay.
Have you ever wanted to spend $900 buying an imaginary ship?
Corin. Let me give her a
No,
legit
never,
description
never
first, and then you
Give her
can
the- give her the
riff
breakdown
on it.
first.
Yeah, she needs legit before you can riff.
In progress. That's the only thing you need.
Okay, so Star Citizen is a Kickstarter. It's like the largest Kickstarter for a game in history.
It's
They
so
have-
large that it's gone on for like a year and a half or more outside of Kickstarter.
Yes, and the motto of the game is we want to build something that people say can't be built. Essentially, with your money, and everybody funds the crap out of it. And, like, they sell digital ships that will be in a game that is not even released yet for, like, $600 a pop.
Let's face it, if the game comes out in any way in next year, there's no way it's going to happen. There's no way Star Citizen will release next year. I'd be shocked if it released in
It won't.
2017.
Uh-huh.
I'd be
And-
shocked.
You know what really got me? A few days ago, they posted that From Pupil to Planet trailer and made a big deal out of the fact that you can now go to planets. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, Space Engineers had the free weekend to celebrate the fact that they now had seamless transition to planets.
Yep, I
Yup.
do remember that.
Which is
yeah.
beautiful.
And
Yeah.
just
Oh,
thinking,
yeah, that's a
why,
burn.
why do you need what was it, 3 million or 3 billion?
Okay.
It's something like
Billion
100 million
sounds
at this
right.
point.
But at least, why do you need this much money to make it when a group of 20 people make it as well and are almost done with their game?
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, the amazing thing though is that when a game like Space Engineers comes out, people look upon it with such suspicion when it's not fully finished within seconds. Like Starbound is a good example of that, right? Starbound is a perfectly
yeah.
good game, but people hate the fuck out of it because it's not finished yet. When all they did was pay the $7.50 for Starbound.
And it did
but-
get updated really,
And
a
I
lot
put
for a
like
while.
100 hours into Starbound, and whereas
there-
people spend $60 on Star Citizen, and people are willing to be like, "I'll wait for it forever."
Okay, I gotta
Greenlight
chime in.
Alpha Access.
All right.
2018.
When everybody good, I can chime in real quick. Okay. So the thing I will say about this, and to Fable Scroll's point, like what I kept telling my coworker who's super invested in it, is basically like by the time they release all of these other space games that are out, games like Elite Dangerous, games like Space Engineers, are gonna. Oh, Connor, man, you're fuzzing, bro.
Oh god.
Games
Is it
like.
telling that the moment I heard the static, I wanted to say welcome back, Connor.
Oh, come on.
Is it still there?
No, it's good. It's good.
now.
Be cool,
But as
man.
soon as Tully-
It's gone
or
now.
as soon as Good tries to make his point, it's gonna happen again. So,
Okay, let me try
Because
one more
Iron
time.
Jesus hates Good for some reason. He
Yeah,
must
yeah.
have been like a bad boy in a previous life, and it's like Iron Jesus karma.
Okay, so
Oh,
by the
RNG.
time by the time they actually release Star Citizen, Space Engineers and Elite Dangerous are going to have had so much time to match the feature set that they're promising that it's going to be hilariously unexciting. It's going to be like, "Hey guys, look, we launched this game that everybody else already has."
That's how it is.
Well, let's be realistic. By the time Star Citizen comes out with all of its features, you'll actually be able to go to an alien world in the real world. Okay.
Oh, but you know what else burns me now that I think about it is No Man's Sky. Yeah, they're not out yet, but nobody's being asked to pay early with them. They're just a
Exactly.
game that will come out and then you buy it for money. But people, they're laying into it for not having features that they haven't said they will have.
I know it's amazing.
Because, I mean, yes, I'm sad that it looks like No Man's Sky is not going to be the game that I want it to be, but they have never lied and they're not asking for anybody's money. And if they're the ones people every so often will come down and say, like, oh, this No Man's Sky game, it's going to be a big disappointment.
Here's the thing, though, right? The way that the scam worked, in my opinion, with Star Citizen, is it actually plays on something that we were talking about in this very podcast, which is it plays on the idea that the game industry wants to stop releasing certain types of games, and it was marketed so perfectly
Oh, you're
as if
right.
like this is the game that those industry bastards don't want you to have. They said
Yeah,
it was
Made by that
dead.
guy from
They
Star
said
Troops.
I'd never be able to make it ever again, but here I am, motherfucker. I'm making it a way to fuck the establishment.
You are
Yeah,
so
what
right.
bitch? Yeah, I'm doing
I
it.
hadn't thought
And,
about,
and
exactly
about it
really,
like that.
they also marketed basically as the space game to end all space games,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah.
Legitimately.
So, to be fair though, guys, we are comparing Star Citizen, and I'll tell you this, I have a ship on there because someone bought me one because I wouldn't give them money. But I've played like their little bits that they have right now, and I will say this, the graphic fidelity of that game, like there's not even a comparison with Space Engineers, and I like Space Engineers, but there's just not a comparison. And
Yeah, but for example, looking at Star Citizen and No Man's Sky, I like No Man's Sky art design infinitely better, even if
I
the
agree. I
sheer
completely agree.
graphics quality is worse.
is No Man's Sky going to be on PC? I thought that was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
PS4
it will.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be on the PC.
Sweet. Well, then there you go. No, but like, I don't know. I feel like Star Citizen, at the end of the day, we can sit here and talk about how bullshit it is. Like, we literally can. Yeah, no, literally, it was my coworker that is like super invested. He's probably given them thousands of dollars. I don't want to talk about it. I feel bad for the man. Anyways, I think that like one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to release it, and it is, for one reason or another, going to be the de facto like benchmark for that type of game when it releases, or it's going to be considered the biggest flop in Kickstarter history, and it's going to damage the chances. Yeah, it's going to damage the chance of small companies getting Kickstarter money for games if this giant thing fucking blows up at 100 mil.
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
really
yeah.
bad. It's what it is. It's like they've dug a hole in the ground and they're throwing fertilizer in it, and it's either going to make a big ass tree or a big ass explosion.
Yeah.
That is
To
a
me,
perfect
it
analogy.
was never going to get off the ground.
So
To me, it's that rotting corpse on the side of the road that's just getting bigger and bigger as it fills up with.
The one
This
thing
is
saying
bound
it's
to
some sort of
explode.
plague corpse that keeps attracting more corpses to
that's
it,
more
and now it's a
pessimistic.
big
though.
old fucking pile
That's
of corpses.
more pessimistic.
That's what's going on.
My analogy is less pessimistic because how is the corpse
Yeah,
going to
that's
turn
true.
into something good?
Yeah, and
Hey,
I
it's
think
gonna turn
it
into
could
dinner.
turn into something good, but I'm doubtful.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
It's not going to turn into something good enough to justify
$100 million.
over it.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, it can
Also,
break even.
I will admit, I'm not sure. Maybe I missed some releases, but at the time they marketed it, the number of good space games was really limited.
Yeah.
That is true. And so if they had just
And-
gotten it out of the gate quicker, it wouldn't have become embarrassing.
And
Yeah.
I think many of the other space games we got now, apart from Elite because they started around the same time, but Space Engineers and many of the others probably started development after they realized, hey, there's still money in this.
Absolutely, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I
but
jumped
yeah,
into
I'm not
Space
Point is
sure
Engineers
really
after
good,
X
though.
Rebirth released before or after.
Well, I mean,
the Star Citizen
the X
Kickstarter?
series though was always the only like space game like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
In fact,
Or
Yeah,
it's the
but,
argument
the
for
thing
how
is,
it was a
even
dying genre.
the X series was a bit different anyway because of the whole economic simulation. But Rebirth was
Exactly.
just a disaster on release.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And that probably helped Star Citizen because either it happened first and then they said, well, this guy has experience, he will make a good one, or it happened after he started and they said, well, they fucked up, we better give our money to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so to be fair, guys, I didn't pick up X Rebirth because the reviews were terrible when it released, and I bought the other X games, and those things are complex as fuck to figure out. Like the
Oh yeah.
learning.
I love
Thing
the
is
X
a
series,
cliff.
but it takes like 200
Yeah.
hours to finish one.
Yeah, easily.
And
Yeah.
Rebirth, I mean, the design ideas I got in the newsletter, the design diaries, they sounded like really good ideas. Like when they said we make these big space stations so that we have some actual terrain in space instead of it just being empty as it was before. Sure, that sounds like a good idea, but apparently the implementation didn't work well because at first you had no control inside the highways at all. You flew in and then you had to wait until you came out the other end, basically.
Oh, that's kind of a burn. That
I've always just wanted. I don't know how many of you guys played Freelancer. It's like a late '90s, early 2000s game, space trading game.
For me, unfortunately
bell.
not, because at the time I didn't have my own computer, so I couldn't.
Freelancer. I've always just wanted modern Freelancer, and for some reason it never happened.
Yeah, it was sort of
That's what I hoped from
it was
Star Citizen.
kind of like the X games except more arcadey.
Yeah, the
And
more
it
arcade
hit a-
version of the X
It hit a
game.
really nice balance between arcadey and sort of economic sim and space starfighter game. It was really good.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off on a complete tangent here and say that something that I'd like to see is a crossover between Honey Pop and XCOM called Triple XCOM Enema Within.
Oh
I-
my god.
Yes.
Oh,
That's all I can say is oh my god.
Are you talking like the Honey Pop puzzle aspect or like the whole horrible dating sim aspect?
Both, whatever. Also, it's
So
gotta
basically
have
Mass
the
Effect.
dating sim part. You gotta have the
Yeah.
dating sim part, except instead of the puzzle part, you have an XCOM style mission where you get out, your like I don't know, your sperms do like a raid or something like that.
oh my god!
Oh my good lord.
On the alien eggs.
Wow. Oh.
I know this is like a really fucked up thing, but Uko has this game he's wanted to make at times where you do it's kind of like a fetus simulator, and eventually, like if you fail as a fetus, instead of saying a game over thing, it would be like, congratulations, you contributed to curing cancer because your stem cells were used.
Like harvested.
Oh,
But in other aspects, it would like run numbers and tell you like how damaged you were. So like you like what horrible life you had. You were developmentally unviable and vegetative or whatever else because
Couldn't
you
have
were
come
you
at
were
a
a
worse
lousy
time for me.
fetus.
Do you Do you guys remember the game Colonization? Any of you play that?
Sid Meier's Colonization.
Sid Meier's
Yeah,
Colonization.
I've actually played both the original one and the remake.
Yeah, I've never actually really played the remake, but
I played the remake
remember-
once and never again.
yeah,
That's how
all
I
remember.
That's how I went. Yeah.
All I remember is like from the remake. I played it a little bit, and I remember looking and seeing that right next to my town was like an 800-foot Native American. Okay, that's what it was, an 800-foot tall Native American. And I was thinking, like, if I was that motherfucker, I would stomp right over and crush my fucking colony right the fuck out with my giant 50-foot fucking feet.
Before the shit can start.
Yes. But
Fairgrounds, man.
at the end of the
Honestly,
civilization,
for me,
or
it
the
was
end of
more
the-
that I looked at it and thought, well, if I can run the Civ 4 engine, why would I play this if I could play Planetfall or Fall from Heaven 2 or any
Yeah,
other of the great Civ
But-
4 mods?
Okay,
But,
okay, hold on, guys. 1 second. HC has fixed his mic situation. He's going to say hi now and not play hackers. And after that, Unsiege just suggested an amazing topic that we totally have to hit.
Let me go see. Wait, which topic? I'm not seeing it.
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead, HC. Who?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So-
wow.
There we go.
Perfect.
Hi.
Oh, nice and clear.
Super clear.
HC
Okay.
brought to you by Bose.
It's like that.
You want to hear my radio?
Okay, so check this out. Unsiege just point this out to me, and this is fucking gold, man. This is like holy shit gold. For those of you, I mean, Fable Scroll, you're on YouTube. Actually, most of you probably know who this is anyway, because you probably heard people talk about them. But if anybody doesn't know who Maker or Polaris is, please let me know right now so we can clarify.
Yeah,
Oh, Polaris,
I
I
know who
know.
they
Yeah,
are.
Gore's shaking his head.
So, okay, Maker...
Polaris are the guys who are also contracted to Total Biscuit, aren't they?
Quite possibly,
I
yeah.
think so.
So let me give a brief history lesson on what Maker Studios is from my understanding. They were originally a YouTube, partnership program, and they were like one of the bigger ones. They had a lot of the bigger names, and some shit went down, and they basically split into like 4 different studios, and now there's like Maker Gen, which pretty much anybody with a YouTube channel can sign up for. And they tell you like, oh, you're gonna be a star and it's gonna be great, and they give you like a music library, and then they don't talk to you
And then
again.
they take like 40% of your earnings at least.
And they lock you into a
they're
contract.
the scammy part of the former corporation.
Well,
I think the whole thing is scammy.
Yeah.
but to be fair though, like most of the big YouTubers are with them, and they have individual contracts for larger YouTubers like PewDiePie or Total Biscuit or something like that.
Aren't they the ones though that PewDiePie fought to get out from underneath when he was still with them?
Quite possibly.
I could be wrong though.
No, it's quite
I think
possible
that was-
because. Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking that was the one.
Yeah,
If my
they've got a
memory serves
really
me correct.
shady history, and they supposedly have cleaned up all that shady history. But I know for a fact that Curse started as one of their like under things and then left because they didn't
Yeah.
want to be a part of Maker.
And
Right.
Curse is really good, and they have a really, really good track record. And I'm not just saying that because I'm with Curse.
I'm
but
totally
does
with
have a
Curse
really
too,
good
in the interest of
track
full
record.
disclosure. But yeah, they've been nothing but good for me.
And I've
and
never
we're not-
never heard of anybody having a problem
And the thing is,
getting out of their contract.
yeah,
with
we're
Curse.
genuinely not locked into them.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody saying, "Oh, they threw down some sort of weird clause that I didn't know was in there." No.
Okay, so now that we've set the stage and we know who Maker and Polaris are the biggest... Oh, that's what it is. I believe PewDiePie is with Polaris. Polaris is the group inside of Maker that is only for the super large YouTubers. Guys like Total Biscuit,
Captain
guys like
Sparkles apart.
Jacksepticeye, guys like PewDiePie. It's like their own little mini studio that is
Yeah.
only for them.
Jacksepticeye is not with them though. He's
Oh,
with
isn't
a
he?
completely different one. Yeah.
Oh, I apologize then,
But
because
Markiplier, or is he on his own thing?
I think Markiplier's with Polaris as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jacksepticeye is with like Zoom In TV or something like that.
Well, good for him.
Another really, I don't know, they're really, really sketchy, except just that if you're gigantic, you can dictate terms.
Yeah,
I'll look
and
it
that's
up.
the thing. That's what Polaris is too. If you're gigantic, you get into Polaris and you can actually dictate terms. But if you're in anything that's maker below that, you're basically just a scrub until they feel like you're big enough to go to Polaris. Go
like,
ahead.
For example, and I'm not gonna name names here because you gotta be really careful with this, but there is a subsidiary of one of those major groups. They have for the last like few months been creeping on us. Like they contact me by my real name and stuff like that. It's really weird, and that's how creepy the MCN world can be.
Okay, so now that we've set the stage, let's dive right in. Unsiege, thank you for pointing this out, brother. This is amazing shit. How Game Jam, I'm reading an article on Polygon for the information for this. How Game Jam, an indie game dev reality show, collapsed on its first day of filming. So Game Jam is funded by Mountain Dew. It's also it's like put on by Maker and Polaris. And the idea is they take teams of indie devs and they put a YouTuber with them and they work on a game for 3 days and then the YouTubers play the games and rate the games.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
That was the...
I remember this.
I heard about it.
Yeah, that was the intention. What actually happened is they brought them in and then tried to piss the devs off, put them in stupid little mini games where they could win Mountain Dew lawn chairs. And just made a mockery of the whole indie game scene and pissed them off so much that there's never gonna be a second episode.
Oh God.
That's just a travesty.
Well, it gets better though. Check out some of the shit that they asked them. One of the teams was asked, "Do you feel that you have an advantage because you have a woman on your team?"
Yeah, that was
Oh
like
my
a
God.
really controversial thing at the time, as it fucking should have been.
That's cringe making.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, what the
That's
fuck?
horrible.
And then they did the same thing to the other side. Like, they turned around and said, "Do you feel you have an advantage because you don't have a woman on your team?"
It's like, whereupon you're like, do you feel disadvantaged because I just ripped your lips off for saying that shit?
Thank you, Corwin.
It's insane. It's like, what the fuck? And it's so crazy because this is like literally one of the biggest MCNs on YouTube that does this, and it's like they're spitting in the face of indie devs who are the bread and butter.
Honestly, it proves to me that Mountain Dew has a time portal, and they're back to the Mad Men days of advertising.
Yeah.
So there's some guy with like a cigarette holder telling them what to do. You know. If they want to win some lawn chairs, get the broads out and walk them around.
It's like it reminds me of that thing, that advertisement from way back, that cigarette ad with Ronald Reagan, where it says, "Blow smoke in her face and she'll follow you forever." It's like it's from that era of thought.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I guess like the entire show was designed to turn the indie game devs against each other, which is like completely the opposite of that scene.
Like, why?
It's evil is what it is. It's like literally actually evil and
Well,
stupid.
It kind of
I could say,
like
well,
like,
it's not
hey, we're the
news
big
that
guys
big
on the block.
corporations are evil.
Yeah, but it's silly to me because these are like the biggest corporation, like they're the biggest MCN on YouTube. Like, it's not like they're fucking MSN or they're like NBC or something. They're the biggest thing on YouTube, and most of their bread and butter probably comes from games that are made by indie devs that their fucking YouTubers play.
And further, it's like, I don't even understand how it achieves anything for them other than pissing off their user base.
Exactly. It doesn't even make sense. And like the worst part is, the only thing I want to know right now is which fucking YouTubers signed up for this. Because you know they knew. They're the ones that were with Polaris and Maker.
Honestly though, if I remember correctly, that one of the YouTubers was one of the first people to like quit from the thing because of how fucked up it was.
Okay, well then kudos to them. I'm just like amazed, like what the fuck are these people thinking?
Exactly.
Well, nothing, or that wouldn't happen.
It's almost like it's on purpose.
I know.
Well, you know, God doesn't play dice.
No, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said
That is
good.
what Einstein said.
It was rigged from the start, baby.
Well, you don't play dice either. The dice play you. You think of your Blood Bowl games.
Oh, so owned. Wow.
Oh, that was low.
Okay, so something I want to vaguely talk about though, is when Final Fantasy VI came out on Steam earlier this week.
Oh, what the fuck? I
No.
gotta check this out.
They're and it's I played it. I think it's pretty good on Steam.
It's a good port. Yeah.
It's just a port of the mobile version, and a lot of people hate the way the mobile sprites look. But I saw people complaining because they actually said, this game only scales to 4K. It isn't native 4K. And it's like, motherfucker, this is a fucking 22-year-old game. It is not. If you want to play it in 4K with the little tiny window and nothing else, and you can't see the fucking game at all, go right the fuck ahead. Some people are just totally fucking batshit crazy with that 4K obsession.
You know how expensive 4K
if
is in the first
you
place?
closely consider what he said, it only scales to 4K. It's pixel art. Pixel art scales perfectly fine.
Exactly. That's it. We literally said that word for word when we first heard about that.
Okay, guys,
What you said about the
I'm
pixel art
sitting
scale.
here on the Steam page looking at the negative reviews, and this shit is hilarious.
I mean, you also have the trolls, so you gotta think about that too.
No, I mean, the people in here going, the sprite style of the mobile sprites does not match the game world. Da 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 da. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a game from like 20 years ago. It looks like shit now. Just play it for the fucking story.
Yeah, it looks totally fine. Like, it's fine. If you actually
They didn't remaster it.
If you actually look at it, the remastering of the sprites is actually pretty good, and certainly the backplates look really nice. And it's just like, if it upsets you that badly, grab a SNES ROM and play it that way. I just really don't get it.
Legitimately.
Yeah, I looked at it as well and thought, well, I would have preferred the charm of the old art, but this still looks good. So
yeah.
My point is, it's pixel art, and it's fucking 2015. If you're playing this for the art style, if you're playing this for the graphics, you're kind of slow.
Well, I would say if you're playing it for the graphics, you're slow. Art style can be very good in pixel art.
Well, that's true. I take that back. That's true. Pixel art is actually one of my favorites now.
I do think that the updated sprites look quite nice, and in some cases, like, I know that Kefka is one of the great, gaming figures, but I actually really like the new sprite a lot better because it fits with the character a lot better than the original one, at least to me.
I agree too.
Well, I think that you guys also have to look at it this way. Okay, we're all here. We all played that game when it came out, and some of the people that are on the Steam that are getting it are kids who weren't even alive when the game came out.
That is true.
And so they're spoiled by what they've seen that's released now, and they're going back to go play an old game, and they're like, what the fuck, because they're stupid.
But at the same time, they'll still play Pokemon.
The amazing thing, though.
Okay, hold on. I gotta respond to this. Azrael, the comment that I'm looking at begins with, I have played this back on the SNES. I have played this on the PS1, and I have played this on the PS Vita. All those versions are great. The original game, 9 out of 10. This phone port, 3 out of 10. Fucking seriously. Fucking seriously.
I think it's the fact that it's a phone port.
Yeah, phone port just sets off alarm bells without people even trying.
Yeah, it's like, the thing is, it works perfectly fine. It's way better than like the Final Fantasy IV port, in my opinion, and yet people hate it a lot more. It's very strange.
It's Final Fantasy VI. I don't see how you take it. First of all, I don't see how it's a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10, in my personal opinion. But I definitely don't see how the fuck you take it down 6 points because it's a phone port.
Yeah, it's totally.
Yeah, seriously. That is
also,
you're padding your own estimation. Go on.
I remember at one point trying to play the PSX port of it, And the PlayStation port of it was so incredibly bad that it took something like, 15 seconds to go
Oh
from
my god, don't even get me
the
started.
roadmap to the actual battle. It's to the point where I just literally couldn't play it. I literally could not play it.
Dude, the
SNES
worst.
version was so much faster.
The worst. Has anybody here played the Chrono Trigger port for PlayStation?
I have not.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's fucking painful. It is painful.
It is.
Every time you open the menu, it lags for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like that too with the Final Fantasy VI on the
Yeah.
PlayStation 1.
Oh.
Like it lags when it's opening the fucking window. It's like, motherfucker, you are opening up a blue page with some white text. Okay, it is not that fucking difficult.
Yeah, this is like Hello World over here. Yeah.
Well, no, it was because the mistake they made was when they built the game for PlayStation, they set it so that it actually had to spin the disc to load the fucking menu.
Yeah. And it's like I know that a lot of people these days talk about how much they loved it, but I could never actually play Final Fantasy IX because of the fact that it took something, like somebody timed it. It takes like 17 seconds to go from the battle menu or the battle, starting to actually being able to use the menu and do actual battle. 17 seconds.
Ugh.
Oh, that would drive me completely insane.
Okay,
Guess I'm lucky.
HC.
I never had to go through all this.
HC just linked me the Wikipedia page for Nasir Gabelli, who is apparently the Square programmer who did Final Fantasy and Secret of Mana, and would like to just give him some love for the amazing games.
Yep,
Oh, wait,
that
he did 2 as well.
yeah. And
I
from what I
never
understand,
personally enjoyed them, to be honest. I wasn't a
I-
fan of JRPGs in general, so
Oh, he also did Final Fantasy 3. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 3. I'm not a huge fan of JRPGs because ever since Enix bought Square, they've sucked, in my opinion. But I love the shit out of Final Fantasy 3/6, and 2 was okay, but 2 to me felt like it was literally a tester for 3.
yeah,
I could see that actually.
I am a huge JRPG fan, which means that over the last about 10 years, I haven't enjoyed very many JRPGs.
You mean you
because they've
died a little
gone-
inside every year that
Yeah, it's like-
passes?
It's like what it is they said, hey, let's take this perfectly functional turn-based system and replace it with literally the worst action game controls of all time. It's like take a game like Ni no Kuni. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game, but it's a PS3 game, and it's
Heard of it, but not
it's
played.
done by Studio Ghibli, partially the art style is and everything. And
yeah,
it was a
Ni no
game
Kuni, I played that.
I would have really loved to enjoy, but its combat and gameplay is just so terrible. And it would have been fine if it was just a turn-based system, but instead, it's basically like they saw the success of a lot of Western games and thought we'll imitate the more action-oriented stuff, and then weren't able to actually shoehorn it into a JRPG, and it ends up with like an inferior product, in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels like it. Let me ask you a quick, simple question. The day Final Fantasy 13 came out, what happened to you?
Oh, no.
I'll tell you something about Final Fantasy 13, right? I was having some like medical issues, and I was playing Final Fantasy 13, and I thought like, okay, I'm finally really getting into this game. I don't really like it that much, and then it literally killed my PS3. It actually killed my PS3 right in the middle of
Yeah,
playing it.
the laser
It
on the disc
froze,
broke.
and the laser on the disc died, and I was like, "Fuck you, Final Fantasy 13! Fucking hate your ugly face!"
Oh
That
my
the one where we
god.
bought the disc laser replacement lens thing,
Yes,
and it
I
didn't
actually
work.
replaced.
Yeah.
I know it worked for about like 2 months, and then it died again. That's something it's completely off topic, but something that I fucking despise is how new consoles won't have a fucking disc tray. They just like suck it into some fucking hole that's constantly open.
Oh god, yeah, I hate
It's
that.
like, hey, do you want to have some dust on your disc laser? Huh? Do you want that? Hey, hey, you can collect some dust all the time.
Oh my god, I'm gonna make $1 million with this. I am gonna sell a silicone strip that you just jam physically into the thing to block it up.
It's like,
Please sell that on TV because you know you'll make millions
See,
of
this
dollars.
is why I
Oh,
buy
Yeah,
do
my
if you
any of
games
market that
digitally
right,
now.
it would probably sell like hotcakes.
Do any of
Oh,
you
yeah.
have an Xbox One? Because we
I
have
do.
one. Okay.
My
Do
brother-in-law
you
has
hate
one.
the fact that it doesn't have any fucking buttons on the front, and you're just like all the time I'll accidentally like my desks are filled with gaming stuff for recording, and I'll like accidentally brush something 5 feet away from the Xbox One, and the fucking thing suddenly fucking turns the fuck on, and I want to drive down to fucking Microsoft and kick somebody in the nuts.
Spicy, I think
mean,
you should
it's
just
very
be.
sensitive. I'll give it to that. But I mean, I've really not had issues because I mean, I did originally when I had it on top of my desk, but since I got a new desk, I put it underneath. I just power it on with my remote. It's been no problems, but still.
Yeah,
Jag måste,
it
jag
is-
måste
it is
säga att
oversensitive, though, yeah.
jag måste säga att det är alldeles lite svenska här inne.
Like the thing that I love about the Xbox One though is that they fixed the D-pad on the
Oh
controller.
my god, yes.
Oh,
because
totally.
We actually recently they made it where like Windows 7 can use the adapter for the PC, and we were like, fuck this shit. We are instantaneously buying an extra controller and the adapter because we have been playing like games like Broforce with the Xbox 360 controller, and sometimes it is just so awful with the D-pad. And at least the Xbox One controller has a real D-pad as opposed to whatever the fuck that is on the Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah,
I
'cause I'm
might need
coming
to
from
look
fighting
into that
games.
adapter
Yeah.
and an Xbox controller then.
You will not regret it. It's an excellent controller.
Yeah, it is a really nice controller.
I've always been fond of Xbox's controllers, even with the shitty D-pad. I'm still more fond of it than the PlayStation ones because I'm
Oh,
a
no,
rather
that's-
large
that's
man.
true.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing for me too. I have huge hands compared to most gamers, right? It's like my hands make people like, oh god, I would definitely never want to be fisted by you. That's what people think.
Does that mean your
That's
penis
the
is
first
really
thought.
small?
Right there, you see somebody with
Are you
big
talking
hands, and
to
you
my
go, "I
wife?
never want to be fisted by that person."
Oh my god.
Oh gore.
Thank you, Spicy, for keeping it classy.
But it's like when I use a PlayStation controller, it would make me feel like some sort of giant living in a normal person's world.
Oh, you trust me, because I went from the Xbox 360 to a PlayStation. I was like, what is this? A game console for children?
Exactly.
Basically, it's like that Zoolander scene.
Okay,
wait.
sorry.
The
I gotta,
Yes.
I gotta chime in
Honestly,
here.
my hands aren't even that big, and I find the Xbox controller more comfortable than any PlayStation controller I ever used, be it for the 1, the 2, or the 3.
Oh yeah. It's just more ergonomic. It really is.
I gotta chime in here. I'm sorry. Was it anybody else but me that thought of the Neverending Story with the strong hands?
Oh, that's perfect.
But no, I mean, just the fact that the Xbox controller is more ergonomic. The triggers, I cannot play a PlayStation controller because of the stupid triggers.
You know
How
what my
hard it is
favorite
to make
part
a
of
curved
the
trigger.
Okay, I just had it's off topic, but the Neverending Story thing. Can you guys imagine the really awful movie tie-in game that would have happened if that came out like now?
No, thank God.
Or like
I'm
no,
I'm pretty
it came
sure
out in
Michel Ende
2003 or
is
something.
I think Michel Ende is still alive, and he wouldn't allow that.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know
It
the
would be the next E ET.
Yeah.
you know how in Far Cry 4 they had that special like technology for the fur on the animals. They would have that for like the luck dragon or whatever it was.
kill and skin a luck dragon.
Oh.
You know what they would do? They would replace Atreyu with a really cute German Shepherd, and then kill him in the first scene.
Could you put doggles on Atreyu?
Oh my god.
If I can put doggles on Atreyu, I'm okay with this.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I just busted a gut. That's hilarious.
Oh my
And-
god.
I could say, of
What are we
course,
even
they,
talking
they'll
about again?
probably also sell a Momo crossover DLC, though most of you probably haven't seen Momo.
No, we have not.
It's a movie based on the other famous book by the same author.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a
that rings
really
a bell
great
now,
movie
but I haven't seen
about,
it.
basically about capitalism, but instead of money, the people steal time.
Interesting.
Literally time. They smoke it to
Oh
stay
my
alive.
god.
Wait,
Unseized,
so-
I am not
was that
gonna
the
look up
horrible Brad Pitt
Gamergate.
movie?
I know what Gamergate is. I'm good.
Yeah. In fact, we're not going to talk about Gamergate because if it gets talked about, it's like summoning a demon that ruins everything.
Oh, shit.
Legitimately.
The way Gamergate happened is an embarrassment for the whole gaming community.
No question about it.
Yep. I think that everybody here is probably roughly on the same page with all of that.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
don't know.
bad that I can't recall it now? Because I remembered it.
Okay, good.
I
good.
knew it when he first came out and
you wanna-
happened. I've lost it.
You wanna stay that way. It's all good.
Yeah, no, so yeah, to reiterate for Connor who's forgotten about Gamergate, essentially it was like this thing about game ethics, and there was this chick that supposedly slept with someone for a review that may or may not be true, and basically it was an
Oh,
excuse
that
for a
there's
bunch of
some
assholes to jump behind a banner of women in gaming are evil and, like, attack. And
Okay,
then the
I
other
have
side
to
fought
bring up
back,
something.
Clearly.
and it
I
just
have to
turned
bring
into a
up something. That's
shitstorm.
not the first time that's happened, and it happened over, I think it was in Japan, where it was Pro Gaming League, and there was
I do remember hearing about that.
there was a top player over there that had never revealed herself, so nobody knew that it was a girl. They all thought it was a guy because it was just a general name, so that way you couldn't tell. And then when she revealed herself, it like blew up over there. People were hating on her to the point that she had to hide herself because people were threatening her life, because there was no possible way that this could be a girl that was a top player. And they just went on and on about how it was this big sham and it was a lie, and her career was ruined just because, I'm sorry, but she has boobs, and so all these guys like lost
I
their
don't
shit.
get it because everybody, it's video games are it's a little. I have to say it's a little bit sexist in that aspect. My fiance, my aspect.
A little bit?
My fiance can whoop my ass in Mortal Kombat. I cannot kick her ass in Mortal Kombat. I can beat her in every little bit of everything. Get my
Welcome
ass
to the
handed
Confessions
to
of
me.
Good.
You know,
But
I read an article not too long ago that talked about basically how the reason why some people behave that way was like a big study that the very shittiest of male players, they feel super insecure. So apparently when you go into a server, the top male players don't feel threatened by women who are good at games. But the guys who are near the bottom, they need to maintain their position as being supposedly better than all female gamers. So because of that, that's why they like rant like crazy the instant a girl comes along and is better than them. And like I said, I used to be a really, really good CS player, and I would see it how like a girl would come along who would be good enough to be one of the better players, and none of the most top tier players would have a problem with it, but the guys who were just like barely hanging on, barely staying on their team, they would flip their shit about it because they were afraid of her stealing their spot.
To me, that makes me feel a little better about not society, but about humanity. Because I can understand people, I hate it, but it's a basic function of humanity that people will become threatened for their position or their resources or whatever.
Those people can suck it and they're mentally weak. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, what I'm saying is I understand that. that way I don't have to come up with a justification for why my society has said this is what we're going to do. It's just morons being selfish.
Well,
Yeah,
we actually watched a video. I don't know if y'all seen Adam Ruins Everything.
I've heard of it, but
Because
I haven't seen any of that.
In my opinion, it's society's fault for failing to slap these people down when they act like assholes.
That is true.
But anyway, what were you saying about this this video?
The you'll have to look it up, and I'm pretty sure I'm not quoting it right, but he's on YouTube, and it's called Adam Ruins Everything. It's on True TV too, and they were talking about why video games are geared towards guys, and it was really interesting when the games first came out. They had them in the electronics section, and it was just a unisex thing. It was a general thing, and if you go back and watch the early commercials, it's geared towards its family fun. And it shows a picture of a whole entire family together, like in front of an Atari system and all that stuff.
Or like a girl child and a boy child.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
these ads.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was when they made their decision, they wanted to be brought out of the electronics aisle and they wanted to go over to the toys aisle because they felt like that they would get more marketing and get more money that way.
Oh, and the toy aisle is
toy
strictly
aisle
split into the pink
exists-
section and the blue section. Yeah.
And that
Toys are
further,
split by boys and girls.
further
And so they
there's the
thought that they would get more money by putting it towards guys. And so it started this trend of video games are for boys. And so it's just perpetuated itself over the years.
well, there's also the phenomenon.
Plus, statistically,
The
there's
latest
more
Call of Duty
girl gamers
commercial
than boys.
explains it.
Thing is, there's also the phenomenon of the whole shrink it and pink it thing, where like if it's a male toy, if it's the same toy for boys, they get like a really well-made version of it, but for girls, there's a smaller, shittier pink version of it. And so if you want to sell a high-end product, you want to sell it to the to the male-oriented audience, and it's fucked up, but that's the way that the toy industry works.
I think
the
it's
toy industry is
absurd
super
that
evil.
like we're still at a place where people give a shit. Like honestly,
Let's
I
face
know.
it, right? There should not be a girls and boys section of a toy store anymore.
Yeah,
right?
that's insane.
That's totally
Unless-
insane.
Wait.
I think
unless it's an
many toy
adult
stores are
toy
actually
store.
canceling that.
Okay,
now.
that's an adult toy store.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
it's
hey,
helpful.
Not
well,
even
actually,
Romeo,
if you're
I-
trying to be as understanding as possible to what a person identifies as, maybe you don't need a boy and girl section in an adult toy store.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
Yeah,
it might
I
get a
agree.
little bit confusing.
It is entirely confusing.
Well, that's true. Sexuality in general is just confusing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's supposed
shit.
to be.
But you know
That's
what?
a dog.
People generally aren't confused about what they want to buy in the adult sex toy store.
Yep. And if they are, then you ask the girl who works there, and she will calmly explain it to you.
Oh, you're such a
Yes.
sexist. Why does it have to be a girl working in there?
Okay, look, I've known
Because
two people
100%
in my
of the
life
time,
who,
it's a
who
girl
worked in
working
adult stores, and they were both women.
Yes.
So it's just based on experience.
Yeah, exactly. The one of them she used to refer to
I
it,
guess
she would
it's
sell.
basically like booth babes
Oh,
conventions.
Well, I think what it is
because
is
they think
partially
it
that
appeals more.
I want
and
male
also that
booth
it's
babes
less
from now
threatening.
on.
I
They
think
need to
that
be
if a woman
wearing like
wants to
little
go
male
into the store and
G-strings.
buy-
Okay, here's
Oh,
something. Here's something about that though, right? Is that like it used to be that about like 40 years ago, there would be dudes who, and there are still guys like this, but who, if they saw a male booth babe, they would be like so horrified by it and enraged. And it's like, to me, a part of me is like, no, I don't want to get rid of the booth babes. I just want to have where like there could also be the male booth babe for the women and men who like men to appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
was
way
about
we
to say I'm all in favor of that. Gives me twice
Yeah.
as much to look at.
It's
exactly.
Exactly.
HC
I
has
guess-
volunteered to be a male booth babe. He will wear the G-string with a bell attached to it.
And the little collar with bow tie on it.
No, the little
Yes,
collar has the
maybe a
game
little
logo on it.
different Perspective
We need an
about
awkward
it.
story time.
Go on.
I don't think that you have to have babes at all. It's just not necessary. I mean, even if a
No,
hot guy
it's
was
not.
standing there, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me because I'd be like, okay, there's a dude. I could care less if you're standing there half naked, although I might find it funny if you're completely naked. Because that's
I
just
guess though,
awkward.
like the way
But
I view it, right? I don't
it
care.
doesn't mean anything to me. It's not going to make me buy their product anymore.
No, me
it's not
either.
going to make me want it
No,
anymore.
not
except
really,
to,
but-
like,
You know, the thing is, I don't
Ogle.
care about it either. But the thing is, there are people who really like that, and I think that in a better world, there would be room for people to be able to have that, and also for people to not be in any way abusive.
Azrael, I think what he's trying to say is that you're not accounting for the 13-year-old male audience.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. sorry.
I did once hear an actual economics specialist argue, yes, of course, it would be good to do away with them, but we can't just do away with them from this convention to the next one next year, because that basically puts all those people out of work if we remove them from all the conventions.
That makes sense. Okay,
Because
actually, I have
these
the
people,
solution.
I mean, they don't work just at the gaming convention.
Yeah.
After that, they go to the car
Yeah.
convention
Oh,
and
yeah.
then whatever. And
Well, I have a solution. I think they should put The Price is Right out of its misery. Those people have to have something lined up, and you make the gaming prices right. And instead of physical products, you have things like DLC and obviously consoles and controllers and everything else. And you hire the booth babes as the new, like, what was it, Bob Barker's Beauties or whatever it was.
Yes,
Okay,
those.
Problem solved.
That is sounding so strange suddenly. But
Oh my god.
Wait, isn't
Bennett,
that
as I
you know,
was talking
don't give them ideas. Steam will use that for their sales next year.
yeah, you have to guess the price.
No, I mean, okay. I
something
want to make a
Steam
legitimate
controller.
point, though. I went to PAX, and it was maybe a year or two back, and I didn't see any booth babes at all at PAX. Like, when I walked around, I didn't see a single one of them, so I'm, like, wondering, who the fuck uses them?
PAX, it's not an industry event. It's a convention.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
here's the thing, though, right? That they phased booth babes out for the most part at most Western conventions. But if you go to like any sort of East Asian convention, there's still a really good chance that you'll see booth babes.
Okay, I have
Definitely.
to.
Well,
Again,
what would you
from a
like to
different
do about
perspective,
Japan?
Most of y'all know that I do makeup on the side, and I've gone to many haunted house conventions, and that is rife with booth babes everywhere.
I can imagine.
Because
Booth
of the
babes,
fact
yeah.
of body painting,
Oh,
selling
yeah,
liquid
so
latex.
that makes
So
sense.
it's not uncommon to see someone walking around with basically nothing on but a G-string.
Welcome to Sweden.
I mean, for makeup it makes sense, but I mean, the whole idea it came into gaming as a whole was because, awkward teenage kids and just the
Hormones.
stereotypical, hormones, and then you have like the very secluded, very sheltered Asian kid who's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And he sees boobs and he's like, I gotta get press her, and then she doesn't care.
Well,
The thing is, though, at the end of the
Okay.
day,
I want to
It's
chime
good.
in real quick. So when we're
Okay.
talking about booth babes, this is exactly what I'm picturing. I am picturing the latest Call of Duty game on display at a convention with a giant tank and some chick who's like almost wearing nothing sitting on the barrel of the tank and some 13-year-old kid like losing it in his pants.
Yep, that's
That's
pretty much
exactly the
that's pretty much
premise.
how it is.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if actual tank manufacturers put out calendars like that.
Actually,
I'm
have
pretty
y'all
sure they
seen
do.
Have y'all seen Lord of War? That scene actually
Yeah.
basically happens in Lord of War. There's
Yeah.
like a gun, a gun show for people who buy a lot of guns, like internationally. And at one point, there is like a rotating platform, like you see at a car show, with like women on an APC. Exactly like Good was
well,
describing.
the thing that's the most ugly about the booth babe phenomenon to me is that when it's a game that has no female characters in it, but they have like 30 women as booth babes
With
at
like
the
just the
convention.
logo on their on the tit shirt.
That's see that creates a really ugly look in my opinion.
And then the publisher argues that it's just too expensive to make an alternate player model that's female and mocap it.
Well, the thing is, like Black Ops 3, I went to a convention. Black Ops 3 had booth babes, like in those exact shirts you were talking about.
That is so sad.
But you look at the characters that are females in Black Ops 3. One has like a buzz cut, is like a hooded huntress. I mean, yeah, there's nothing sexualized about them at all.
But the thing is, that's good though, right? It's
Yeah.
good for them to
Yeah.
have characters
I give them
like
props
that.
for that.
And I guess I'll like let them off a little bit more for the booth babe thing if they're at least actually representing women in some way positively in the fucking games.
Yeah, legitimately.
So this brings up
Yeah,
a
I'll let them
legitimate
pass on that.
question. Like, how do you guys feel? Like, there's been this push to move away from just having like really really over sexualized women in video games, or not having women in video games at all. where do you guys think the industry is going with that? Do you think we're actually moving in the right direction? Like, are you seeing more female protagonists or more, less sexualized characters or what? Because I was playing something recently and I was like, what the fuck, really? But I'll go there after I let you guys chime in.
All right.
Okay,
So
I think there
new
needs to
Tomb
be a
Raider. New
balance.
Tomb Raider. That's a good example of that it's heading in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree,
I agree
with that.
completely.
Both of the new Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
So,
And my
So it was a more
opinion-
realistic description of a
my
woman.
opinion on it, though,
I agree.
right, is that there's sort of like a disconnect from what people want, and there's like a big debate about it. And the thing that disturbs me, right, is that we have in film and certain, to some degree, in books, where people have movies and books that are obviously targeted toward men, and movies and books that are obviously targeted toward women. And I am afraid that we are going to eventually have that happen in gaming to like a
And
much greater degree than we have already. And I mean,
We pretty
I'm
much
okay with-
already do. I mean, all of those hidden object games are basically marketed towards women.
You're right.
But the thing
And
is,
the funny thing is, I heard from various places on the internet, and also from my sister, who plays a lot of them on her iPhone when she's waiting around for the bus, that those games actually have well-written female characters, because their devs, of course, marketing towards women, realize we need to write a good female character.
I guess
Whereas
the way
in the AAA games, it's a bit of a hit or miss.
Yeah,
the
that's
thing is,
exactly
the
how
thing
it
that
is.
I see as concerning about it is that I don't want a situation in which one day we have girl games and guy games and nothing in between. That really concerns me, and I obviously think that there should be more games that are targeted toward women, because of the fact that right now almost every game is really targeted with a male audience in mind. But I don't want to have one day it comes to the point where an FPS is treated in the same way that an action movie was treated in 1992, as being strictly for guys, in quotes.
Okay,
Yeah,
But,
so
like, how do you make a
but
shooter
I'm actually
targeted towards
wondering
women,
if
though?
maybe we need to go there first before they realize, wait, we need to do something about that. Because
I don't know.
that might just be how an industry works.
I think
I mean, the same
it
thing
feels like it's
basically happened
moving
to
in the right
books.
direction, not
So,
the wrong direction.
I want to chime in here
I mean,
real
I would
quick.
say, yeah.
Because everybody is citing Tomb Raider as the new Tomb Raider as a sign that it is moving in the right direction, and I don't disagree with that. But I will say this: when I caught Annie or the Lady Buttons or Lady in the Chap or whatever her like thing is now, when I caught her 24-hour charity stream, she ended it with the new Tomb Raider. And I'm watching her play this, and obviously she is a woman, and I'm like, okay, I want to see how this is going. And she's playing, and like every 5 seconds, and this is the first of the new Tomb Raider games, every 5 seconds while she's playing, Laura's like, I can do this, and she's like, yeah,
That's
I
the
fucking
weak
know.
part.
Stop fucking
Yeah.
telling me every
Yeah,
5
yeah,
seconds.
they could have lost that and made the game a lot better.
It's like I remember when we were starting to play Tomb Raider 2, that the first thing I said was that it was going to be, I can do this too.
But it's kind of weird as well, because I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only man in the world that actually like a bit more. I don't want to say masculine because that's wrong, but like a bit of rougher or more self-secured women. So even when they're trying to target a male audience and they just do it like with the bimbo sort of characters or whatever, it misses for me at least still, because there's nothing
Yeah.
appealing for
Yes.
me for that. And I mean, so it's kind of
Yeah.
weird when they try to target a male audience with like babes or whatever you want to call it.
I think the problem with that is that young boys and to some extent adult males are kind of intimidated by a strong, powerful woman figure.
I'll tell you
people.
guys right now, I love Princess Pearl. Princess Pearl is my. We should just make Pearl into the main character of like all the games that have like a female protagonist, because Pearl has this like, if you fuck with me or you disrespect me, I will fucking kill you attitude, and I love it. I find that amazing.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
And I find that attractive. I mean,
You know-
I find powerful roles in women attractive. I mean, I guess that's my thing, but I'm saying
so I'm not alone. At least that's good.
I'm not as. I mean,
well,
I
it's
never
like,
have been really.
in Mass Effect, the female Shepard seemed like so much more of a badass. For example, that
Yeah,
at least
I
to
would
me,
agree with that. Yeah.
the voice
Yeah, I
actor,
True.
she did so much better a job of making Shepard seem like a badass than the male voice actor did. But the thing that really disturbed me about the first Tomb Raider remake game, and I haven't seen anything like this in the second game, and like a part of me is like, hopefully they read my scathing review on it that I wrote at some point several years back. But I don't know if how many of you have played the Tomb Raider remake, but in it, occasionally there will be these quick time events where you have to fight off an attacker, and it's like, if you successfully fight it off, it looks like the guy was going to sexually assault her. But if you fail the quick time event, it's like, no, I wasn't going to grab your ass. I was just going to sneak around my hand and stab you in the guts. And like, that's somehow really fucked up to me. It's like why did they have to make it be like that when it's like there's two different worlds that exist. It's like there's the
Well, I
one
mean,
world where you fight the guy off who was going to sexually assault you, but to like try to get away with having that in their game, they're like, nah, he wasn't really gonna sexually assault her. He was just gonna sneakily murder her. That just
In the
seems really
kidneys.
weird to me.
Can
Yeah, I
I
mean, that
just
was
say
another
Go on.
thing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, you can go first.
Um,
Yeah, I'll go after you.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, as a woman who's been gaming for a very long time, how heartening it is to hear how many men are saying they want to see strong, powerful women. They want to see them in non-sexualized ways. They want to see them be able to stand up and be equal to the characters that are created. And that, to me, right there, shows how much things are changing.
And I think
Yeah,
that
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
that honestly, the people who are the industry leaders are often way behind what the actual gaming community wants.
they should not be used as a
And-
barometer. We shouldn't like say, "Oh, this sucks," because
And-
the 1,000-year-old dictator that runs something doesn't get it.
And I think that
of course he won't.
we need to, as a community, force them to move forward. They'd send their cover art to the PR firm, and the PR firm would send it back, having moved Ellie off of the front of the cover of the thing and onto the back, because they thought that like having a girl on the front of the cover
would
of the
tank
game
the sales or whatever.
would hurt the sales. And
Yeah,
they had
it was
to,
just
you know,
some PR
they had
company.
to fire their PR firm in order to, because they refused to put a girl on the front cover. And I think that
That
will-
sickens me.
I think that
Yeah.
getting rid of that attitude is something that has to be done in order to actually move gaming forward with regard to the treatment of women.
I think kudos to
Well,
Naughty
you know-
Dog for
On
doing
adding
that,
to
because
the-
fuck
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I
On-
agree.
But
Well,
In
let's be
addition to
honest
that
here,
Last of Us.
the course on cover, the PR training is probably like 45 minutes, and they show a big picture of the Call of Duty cover art and say it always needs to have this composition: a guy in the middle and
Helicopter
you're golden.
exploding in the background.
Yep. I mean, even Bloodborne cover art follows that formula.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in addition to the Last of It, like speaking of that, actually, was with my fiance cleaning out my room, getting it prepared for married life, and I found a bunch of old Game Informers, and one of them was for The Last of Us, and Ellie was on the cover. That I remember when that issue came out. That's what grabbed me. I was thinking, there's a post-apocalyptic game where you're a guy with a girl, who's about the same age as your daughter, and you're fighting against that world. More powerful message than just a solo guy fighting it out.
And then
Yeah,
you
I think that's
immediately
what grabbed
thought
me.
they've clearly stolen this character design from Ellen Page's actual physical appearance.
That too. And, Ellen Page is awesome. So
Yeah, that's actually another interesting topic. However, guys, we are reaching the 2 hour mark, so we're pretty much at the point where we should probably call it.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should probably call it here because Uko and I still have to record.
Okay, guys, let's distract Uko and Corbin for the rest of the night. That way I can get all their subs.
Well, it's 7 a.m. for me, so I
Fine,
could
boys.
stick around for like 12 hours.
Yeah, same here. 7 a.m. What am I gonna do? I mean, there's no point going to bed now.
Where do you live, Fable?
In Germany.
Ah, nice.
So basically, any game I buy has that plays in World War II has no swastikas in it.
And do like some of the characters have green blood in some of the games? Because I know it used to be like that occasionally.
When the original Left 4 Dead came out, it was submitted, rejected, and then they submitted a new version because it was too gory. They removed all the entrails and whatever that hung from the zombies. And I saw screenshots of it. I haven't actually bought it because I refuse to buy such a butchered
Yeah.
version.
Oh yeah.
It looks like you're shooting unarmed civilians.
Oh, wow.
Because there's no
Wow.
gore.
You know, I've heard that like there have been some games, like at least way back, where it was changed to where you were shooting robots or something like that.
Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. When you rolled over infantry with your tanks in the German version, it sounded like you were crushing an empty Coke can.
Oh, that is
Wow.
so
Also,
amazing.
have you
Let's
seen
not
Fortress
be
2's
those
German
dehumanizing
games,
at
roads?
all.
At least, to their credit, the German manual justified it as, yes, we're doing this because humans would instantly die if we sent them into the Tiberian field.
Wow, that is awesome.
That is amazing.
Have you seen the German option for Team Fortress 2 for the gore for that? Instead of gibs, or the gibs, that would be flesh and livers and whatever. They're replaced by things like little unicycles and springs and like weird.
Yeah, I was about to say,
gizmos.
what is it, Pyrovision?
It's weirdly reminiscent of that. For all I know, that's where they got the idea for Pyrovision from.
I think that was actually like that in the something like that in the original Half-Life as well. It wasn't unicycles or anything like that because, of course, back then they didn't have the power for all those vertices. But it was something like bright colors that often made it look like little patches of flowers at a distance.
Oh yeah, you know what else did that is Serious Sam.
Yeah,
had
Serious Sam.
flower gore where
Yeah.
the blood puffs were like hippie flowers.
Okay,
But-
guys,
but
I'm gonna.
What annoys me most is really the swastika issue because you can Company of Heroes, not a single swastika in the game, no mention of Hitler. But everybody knows I'm playing
removes the
dudes
immersion.
in a snappy gray uniform and I'm building tiger tanks. Of course I'm playing the
Yeah.
Nazis.
Oh, that's so sad. I know.
We're just more
And-
fashionable.
And Wiz, the guy from Paradox, when asked, he said, "Yeah, when we release Hearts of Iron 4 in Germany, we might have to take out the portrait of Hitler and rename him."
Okay,
Did they
so
rename him
before
to like Relte?
Before we stop, right?
Well,
before
Hearts
we
of Iron 4
stop-
isn't yet out. I'm surprised they got away with the Hearts of Iron 3 tutorial because that one is given by Hitler.
Before we stop, those of you out here. Wow. Before we stop, those of you who have played Civilization, answer honestly. Have you ever downloaded the mod where you play as Nazi Germany? Because I
did.
have. Every time I play Civilization, when I get a new Civ
It's
game, I
fun.
download the Hitler mod and I play as Hitler and do world domination.
I think
That's what I
think
do.
actually didn't Civ 4 or at least BTS Beyond the Sword come standard with Hitler?
One of the
So what-
civs came standard
one of
with
the-
Hitler as the German leader, and every time since that, I think it's been like Bismarck. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
is it Bismarck? We
Yeah.
all know
What's
the
weird to
fucking
me-
truth.
Because Bismarck was way smarter than Hitler.
What's weird to me though is
Merkel's
how
time has come. She should
they-
be a leaderhead.
they let you have Mao and Stalin, who were both like incredibly horrible murderers.
But
yeah,
no,
that's
I
yeah.
hate that whole disassociation thing because why is the Russians am I playing as Catherine and not as one of the other many great leaders in Russia?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
but
I'm kind of upset there's no Pol Pot.
I also at some point played as the Southern Confederacy, and you know how in
That too.
Civ 5 they have they have like
Sorry, yes.
perks for your civilization.
Yeah.
Well, the perk for the Southern Confederacy was, and I am not shitting you, Southern chicks, and it
Oh, God.
it justified it as them like bringing lemonade and stuff.
Oh God.
They fixed that
Oh,
though. They
God,
redid it.
That just it hurts
Oh,
me
okay,
to
well,
the
I'm
Yeah,
core.
glad they
I know.
redid that. That's
It's
I
like Dixieland Pride now or something like that.
uh,
Uh,
tailgating. Damn it.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
guess most Southern
Right in that
chicks
football.
alive today would punch them in the face for that.
Yeah.
Germany, make some room for America right now. I think God has a word.
Okay, so we are like over a little bit. It's probably time to end it. Before I do though, Unsiege brought up something that might be fun to look at for next week. Derek Savage versus IHE. Apparently Derek Savage is some dude that makes videos of himself in a furry suit, saving kids. And IHE apparently like pissed him off by making fun of how he kind of looks like a pedophile.
Oh no.
And he in response went and copyright striked every video on YouTube about his furry suit.
Get out the popcorn. Yeah.
Oh, that is a very weird discussion right there.
There's a special place in hell for furries.
But, you know, there's a special place in hell for people who send out copyright strikes. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, there totally is. That is the worst possible thing because you can't, like, if you argue it and for some reason you lose, then you're just screwed forever.
Yeah, but you know that special place involves me shitting in their mouths for like thousands and thousands of years.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Stuck Pixel
What you're talking
podcast.
about. You need people to send copyright strikes. Every third video I try to watch on YouTube is blocked for me anyway because of copyrighted music. Because the GEMA, the German agency responsible for collecting royalties, it wasn't happy with the cut YouTube gave to artists for the ads.
Wow.
Yep.
So YouTube said, well, then we just won't show the videos in Germany and you won't get any money at all.
That's called
Oh,
hard.
okay.
I just don't understand that decision because they screwed every artist under contract with them, which is basically every artist in Germany,
Yeah.
Yeah.
out of money.
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay, so this has been really, really fun, and
It has.
Uko and I are gonna go record like maniacs. So, thanks everybody for listening. It has been really fun.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in tonight, too, as well. This has been a blast, and we will be back here next weekend doing the same craziness, probably. Only hopefully we'll actually have discussion points, because I'll do my job during the week.
Yep. Next time, I promise
Thanks,
I won't
everyone.
talk about weird shit that happens at gaming conventions involving
Like flying
people's
vibrators
mothers' vibrators. Yeah.
As long as you promise to end next week's episode talking about how you're going to shit in someone's mouth again, because, you know.
Hey,
Yeah, you know, good. Add a secondary title to this once you upload it to YouTube. The most classy episode yet.
yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys, my dog is about to flip out. I'm going to call it. So, peace. Thank you all for joining
Have fun,
us.
people.
See you guys.